Hey guys, so this is my UFC 330 main card predictions, starting off with Edson Barboza versus Esteban Ribovics. Um, Interesting fight, but because um, Esteban has um, he has a resume full of submissions as well as knockouts, so not many submissions in the UFC, or if I don't think there's any. But before he was in the UFC, Esteban had many submissions, and then obviously when he went to the UFC, um, the finishes were more by knockouts. And yeah, just because Esteban has more to his game, as he's got a history of when he fights by submission and knockouts, and as Edson Barboza has history of losing by submission and knockout, and also because when we think about Edson Barboza, we think of you know when we think about how he finishes fights, we think knockout, but Esteban Ribovics hasn't been knocked out. So because Esteban is the more versatile finisher, and Barboza has a history of both being knocked out and submitted. I'm gonna give the edge to Esteban for that one. But yeah, it's crazy how Edson's still fighting and he's still got like minus 3% body fat. It's insane, but it's an interesting fight. But yeah, because um, like I said, because Esteban has a history of winning by submission and knockout, and as like I said, Edson has history of being both knocked out and submitted. I'm gonna go with Esteban in that one. So by finish or by decision. The next fight, Mansour Abdul Malik versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Yeah, I think Mansour is quicker than Dustin, and so because of that, I'm gonna go with Mansour. Um, yeah, uh, so I see two probable outcomes with that one. I see um, Mansour catching Dustin with a counter, or I just see Mansour rushing in. So we saw Mansour rushing in his last fight. I think his last fight he lost. But in the second round of that fight, he was he started rushing in despite not being that active in round one. And from what I saw in the fight against Kelvin, Dustin gets hit a lot, especially, and in your Kelvin was quicker than Dustin, and I think Mansour is quicker than Dustin. So yeah, because of that, yeah, the two probable outcomes are like I said, Mansour catching Dustin with a counter, or just Mansour just rushing in like he did in the second round of his last fight. And because we saw, yeah, we saw Dustin get tagged, Dustin get hurt by someone who's quicker than him. And like I said, as I think Mansoor's quicker than Dustin, I see the same thing happening. So for that one, I've got Mansoor winning, and I think it's a TKO with that one. So I've got Mansoor by TKO. So the next fight, Jalen Turner versus Cowboy Fernandez. Also ignore if you can tell or if it's visible that I'm like sweating. It's like 150 degrees in England over here, so just ignore that. So yeah, that. So how I see that fight playing out is just Cowboy Fernandez just uh, you know trying to get Jalen to attack, and I see Cowboy evading and just resetting a lot. And I also think because Jalen is the much taller guy, and the leg kicks Cowboy used against Harry Hardwick, yeah, I definitely see him using that same weapon, especially against a taller guy. So how I see it is, how I see the fight playing out is just Kawe evading Jalen's rushes, and yeah, and Kawe using the leg kicks as well. So I've got a Kawe Fernandez by decision. I think the leg kicks and him evading, I think that's gonna win him the rounds and win him the fight. So yeah, I've got Kawe Fernandez by decision. And the co-main event, Mackenzie Dern versus Gillian Robertson. So my opinion on that, I think Mackenzie Dern's better than Robertson in a lot of aspects. I think her striking is better. I think she's got better Brazilian jiu-jitsu and the overall grappling. So yeah, for that one, I see Mackenzie Dern retaining a title by decision or even by a submission. Yeah, I just see her, um, yeah, just winning striking exchanges. And if the fight goes to the ground, I see Mackenzie Dern being very comfortable. And yeah, I also see Mackenzie Dern landing a few takedowns on Robertson as well. I think maybe on paper this fight looks interesting because they've got, you know, like I think Mackenzie's got 8 submissions and then, sorry, 8 submission wins, and then Robertson has 9. And you would think when you look at that, oh, this is a close fight. But yeah, my opinion from what I've seen is, yeah, I just think Mackenzie Dern is an overall better fighter, and for that reason, I've got Mackenzie Dern retaining the title. And yeah, lastly, the main event, one of the biggest fights of the year. Um, I think it's crazy how it doesn't have the same amount of attraction as Connor's return fight or the White House card. Um, yeah, it's a very exciting fight, and I'm also going to be very wise in what I say because I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want this. This is a fairly new YouTube channel, and I don't want this to um, be known as uh, infamous and notorious by a certain group of people, and by that group of people, I mean the fans of Dagestani fighters, because we know how passionate they are. So yeah, I'm gonna be very wise in what I say because I don't want this fresh new YouTube channel of mine to be shot on. So I'm gonna be wise in what I say. So rather than choosing the winner for that one, I'm just going to talk through how I think Ian will win or how Islam would win. So yeah, Ian's way key to winning, or how if he wins, how he wins. I just see, yeah, I think his takedown defense is gonna come in handy. Because yeah, Bilal is a good grappler, and Bilal um ragdolled Leon, and Leon in the trilogy fight against Kamaru, his takedown defense was good, but obviously Bilal ragdolled him, and yeah, but if Bilal couldn't ragdoll Ian, that just shows how good Ian's takedown defense is. So if Ian is to win, how I see it is Ian, yeah, just defending takedowns and also not letting Islam get into his range and just using his reach and his long punches to keep him out. And so yeah, if Ian is to win, I see Ian winning by decision. And if Islam wins, I just how I see that happening is just him just being the classic vintage Islam, just 5 round shutout control time. Um, and obviously that's very 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 possible because Islam, um, he's just one of those fighters who always has a way to win. Um, if it's in a war like against Dustin, he won. He found a way to win. Or yeah, he's just one of those fighters who has a way to win. So yeah, if Islam wins, I just see it being yeah, just similar to what he did against JDM. Um, and yeah, and like I said, it's very possible because um, Shavkat took down Ian Gary um, twice in the fight, and I think Shavkat is sorry, I think yeah, Islam is a better wrestler than Shavkat. So yeah, if Islam is to win, I see that by yeah, just Yeah, 5 round domination. So yeah, that's my prediction. But yeah, it's an exciting main event. I think it's one of the biggest fights to happen in the welterweight division for quite a long time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, and I'd be interested to know what you guys think on the main card and the main event. But yeah, it should be a good one. Like I said, exciting main event, and um, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, and yeah, I'll be back for the reaction after it's all taking place. Have a good day.